This is not a banger. This is not a banger. And I know bangers. I know bangers.
We're unveiling the Xbox. This is the product that will be out later this year.
It's a night of firsts. The first time you've seen Xbox 360.
Introducing Xbox One.
Xbox Series X will lead us into the future of console gaming. Our fastest, most powerful Xbox.
The year is 1998. France just won the FIFA World Cup. I'm fresh out of the womb, and Hillary just found out why Bill's been staying late at the office.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
But there is something else brewing up at Microsoft. 4 goofy goobers from Microsoft's engineering team are chugging Red Bulls and killing each other in Twisted Metal 2. When one of the guys says, "Hey, why don't we make our own console?" The other guys look at each other, and with the Red Bull coursing through their veins, they say in unison, "Xbox." Thus, the Xbox was born. After tearing apart a few Dell laptops and watching some WWE to get their testosterone levels up, they finally had it. They had created a functioning prototype. And in March of 2000, they announced their new hardcore manly box.
And so, for the first time, let me now unveil Xbox.
Just to show off how raw nauseous it truly was, they had The Rock there to keep them T levels high. Scoot over, Bill. The men are talking.
I did it for The Rock.
Xbox was more than a console, it was a statement. It was a message that said no matter who you are, you can get into the console market, as long as you had a multi-million-dollar company backing you. It was powerful. It was manly. It was American. Oh, and it also had this little game called Halo. People couldn't wait to get their hands on this big green box and see all the wonders it had inside. And as soon as November 15th, 2001 rolled around, the people got what they were waiting for. The PlayStation 2, the Xbox. Kids from all over were filled with excitement as they were experiencing gaming history. Once they booted that bad boy up, straight A students were going straight to summer school. Those boys took that Xbox home that day, hit that power button, and witnessed one of the coolest user interfaces man has ever seen. It looked like something straight out of the Matrix. Sort of reminds me of Flubber, too. So futuristic and alien-like, it was almost haunting. I'm sure if I would have owned one of these as a kid, I would have had nightmares for sure. They grabbed a hold of that big, girthy controller that looked super unintuitive, but it was actually pretty good, and they had one of the best times of their lives. This was also the first console to make a real impact on the online gaming space. Halo 2 revolutionized online gaming on consoles. It was a really solid box, and it made a super huge splash in the console market. It sold a fat, girthy 24 million units worldwide. It set up a great foundation for the Xbox brand, no doubt. And the boys at Xbox knew that things could only go up from here. And they were absolutely right.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
The Xbox killed it for a new console on the market, and only 4 years later, Microsoft would put out their magnum opus, the Xbox 360. This generation was all gas, no brakes for the Xbox brand. They took what the Xbox One did, not that one, and did what Nintendo don't. The games got bigger. The user interface got better. And it made cussing out random strangers online the norm. This is when Halo was at its peak popularity, alongside Wall Hugger Simulator, Gears of War, and Fable. This wasn't your grandma's Nintendo 64. No, this was your Debbie Uncle's Xbox 360, with some of the best games you've ever played, and some of the worst quality control you've ever seen. The only negative thing I can remember about the Xbox 360 was the terrible red ring of death disaster and the constant disconnecting battery packs. You would have thought Microsoft designed this thing out of newspaper clippings and paper clips as much as these things failed. They had to recall over 10 million Xbox 360s that suffered the fate of the Red Ring of Death. It cost Microsoft over $1 billion to fix this issue and absolutely stain the reputation of the fat white Xbox 360. But despite the negative publicity and the hardware failures, Xbox mushed on. They'd go on to fix these issues with the later models of the 360, no longer having to deal with the Red Ring of Death. And they still managed to sell over 84 million units worldwide. Despite all of the issues that the Xbox 360 may have had, they stayed afloat for multiple reasons. They had the best games and software of the console generation, and at an affordable price. The 360 released at a solid $299, which was a decent amount of change for 2005. Its competitor, the PlayStation 3, however, launched its base model at a total of $499, and you could get the 60GB model rather than the normal 20GB for a total of $599. Who would have thought the PlayStation 3 was gold-plated? This move screwed PlayStation this generation. It also didn't help that Xbox on launch had achievements that showed the progress of your gaming addiction, Xbox Live, which was way better than PlayStation Network, and this really cool game about a green robot that rides around in a Jeep and shoots aliens. What did the PlayStation 3 have, you may ask? Blu-ray support. During this generation, I hardly remember any of my friends owning a PlayStation 3. This was the generation that Xbox stood tall and cleaned house with its offerings. As a young boy, I lived in the middle of nowhere with the worst internet imaginable. But that didn't stop me from hopping on Xbox Live and making friends with the divorced 40-year-old dads with the best life advice a man could give. I remember long nights of playing Modern Warfare 2 and Halo online, lagging out so bad that 15 seconds after I died, my bullets would finally kill them. And I received some of the most horrendous messages a 12-year-old could hear.
I'm gonna come to your house and kill you with my bare hands.
This was a magical time before Discord calls and party chats ever even existed. It was all open mics and it was a bloodbath. And it was beautiful. There will never be another console like the Xbox 360. As the generation was coming to an end, things were looking great for Xbox. And Xbox fans were excited for the next generation that Microsoft had to offer. And we were completely shocked by what was to come. Just like the homeless guy outside of McDonald's told me the other day, don't bank on good times. They never last. At this point, the Xbox had took the PlayStation brand and mopped the floor with it. Later in the life cycle of the PlayStation 3, it did finally catch up, slightly surpassing the 360 through a very good ad campaign. But let's be honest, brother, they're getting a bronze medal on this one. It was too little too late for the PlayStation 3, but if PlayStation could learn from their mistakes, they could just give Xbox a run for their money. The anticipation for the next generation of consoles was brutal. But on May of 2013, Xbox fans would collectively watch as the new Xbox would be revealed. And boy, was it something.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Xbox One.
TV experience. TV and movies. TV. Xbox. Watch TV. TV.
90% of the showcase was focused on watching TV shows rather than playing video games at a console reveal, and that name is just awful. It's bad enough your console looks like a VCR from 1995.
Really?
Now you're making us sit through an hour-long TV rant with some sports games sprinkled in. I thought, this can't be. They'll pull it together. There's still a little bit of time in the show. Then Don Matrix was asked a question that we were all thinking.
So tell me, coming out of that reveal, how did you feel about it? Because I know obviously a lot of gamers have been all over social media complaining. What was your takeaway from that? What did you learn from it?
Come on, Don, you can still save the show. Just give a halfway decent answer.
And fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get
some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
You what?
You've gotta be kidding me. My parents canceled the internet months before this show even happened because on a good day you might get 1 megabyte a second, and that wasn't good enough to stream the Golden Girls, so goodbye dial-up. I watched this on my phone in absolute disappointment. Little baby boy me was devastated. This was the moment in my gaming life when I turned away from the Xbox and faced the rising sun once again. This showcase was received extremely negatively, as you can imagine, and sent the Xbox brand on a downward spiral that they are still struggling with till this day. You remember how the PlayStation totally dropped the ball during the 360 life cycle? Well, yeah, on this one, Xbox said, "Hold my beer." After having a banger of a generation, they started the Xbox One era off with the impact of a wet fart. Xbox and PlayStation practically swapped places, and the tides would turn into PlayStation's favor. They absolutely dominated with their focus on sharing games and offline capabilities.
Thanks.
And they also had killer exclusives, while the X-Bone was collecting dust with nothing noteworthy even to mention. Well, other than absolutely butchering the game franchise that put them on the map, but that's a different video for another day. The Xbox One sold over 58 million bones, while the PlayStation Hardcore 4 sold 117 million jet engines. The Xbox fell off hard by the end of the generation, and the issues it had would only get persistently worse going into the next one.
Xbox Series X.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Throughout the Xbox One's life, it was failure after failure. And what did Xbox do to fix this problem? They doubled down, baby. They gave it an even more confusing name, made the user interface look more plain Jane than it already did, and stole the design from a Samsung smart fridge. What are these guys smoking? It's almost like they intentionally want the brand to fail. After all of these massive blunders they've had, you'd think they'd figure something out to get the people to want to buy an Xbox. But they are doing the exact opposite. I saw an ad the other day for Xbox that just shows exactly where this console is in this generation. And it's the same ad that inspired me to make this video. The ad is called "This is Xbox." What does it promote, you may ask? Not an Xbox. Your TV is an Xbox. Your phone's an Xbox. Your dog's an Xbox. This is one of the worst directions I've seen a gaming company go in a while. I may be a good old down-to-earth country boy, but I understand what is going on here. They are trying to turn Xbox into a similar product as Windows. I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. They're trying to turn Xbox into a service. That's why they've been pushing Game Pass so hard the last couple of years. They want it to happen so bad, but I just don't see the whole cloud gaming thing taking off anytime soon. Even if it did, you gotta have bangers to draw people in. And let me tell you something, games like Redfall and Starfield ain't gonna draw nothing in but refunds.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting.
The game that Xbox had that was practically the face of the brand might as well be dead at this point. They have nothing to offer other than games that every other console has anyways. And the few promising studios they did have, they shut down. They are practically handing the competition the gaming industry on a silver platter. If I had to be a betting man, I would say they're probably going to pull a move like Sega did back in the day, completely abandoning consoles and just focusing on the games. But you have to have games to do that. And you may think, bruh, you're wrong. Just wait, Xbox is gonna make a comeback. They're still fighting the good fight in the console war. Show them Exhibit A.
And I see it out there. I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games.
They gave up on the console war a while ago, and this stinky little statement solidifies it. What was once the top dog in the state-of-the-art industry is now the bottom of the barrel slop goblin. Is there a chance Xbox could come back? I mean, sure, if they would get rid of whoever's coming up with these terrible marketing strategies and get some people in there that know what the people want, but the likelihood of that happening is like the chances of me having a rich relative that leaves me his fortune. Extremely low. They seem to be full steam ahead on this cloud thing, and only time will tell if it works out for them. The Xbox that held my hand as a kid and showed me the greatness that gaming could truly be is now the blacked out drunk guy in the back alley down the street.
I am the liquor.
And if there was any way we could get him back in shape and cleaned up, there's probably only one way to do that. Put that boy in rehab.